Welcome to another episode of Five Star Conversations, where I have the pleasure of talking with leaders in the hospitality industry. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Oliver Berrivin. Welcome, Oliver.
Hello, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Oliver, what I'll do is I'll start off by reading your bio so that we have a background and then we'll get into some questions.
Sure.
So, Oliver Berrivin holds the position of Vice President Asia Pacific at BWH Hotels, a leading global hospitality network comprising of World Hotels, Best Western Hotels and Resorts, and Shore Stay Hotels. In this role, he's responsible for overseeing the group's development, operational performance, and strategic initiatives across the Asia Pacific region. With a career spanning close to 35 years in Asia, Oliver brings extensive experience in hotel management and regional growth strategies. Prior to joining BWH Hotels, he held senior leadership roles with several major international hotel companies, including Accor and Wyndham. His extensive knowledge and proven leadership continue to drive BWH Hotels' growth and operational excellence throughout the Asia Pacific region. So welcome again, Oliver.
Thank you, Brandon.
Oliver, the first question I always like to start with, I suppose, is the calling. So you've spent 3 decades in hospitality across iconic brands like Accor, Wyndham, BWH. Looking back, did you choose hospitality or did it choose you?
Well, thank you for asking. And I think the answer is probably a bit of both. I am a fourth generation hotelier. My family owns and operates hotels in France, and I was basically born and raised into it. My parents always made sure that I was exposed to every single aspect of operations, starting from housekeeping, reception, and I ended up going to hotel school at some point. And then when I was around 18, I had to choose if I was going for the family business or if I was trying to fly on my own. And working with the family was never really attractive for a series of reasons that you can imagine. And I left France when I was 19, 20 actually, for my first experience abroad. It was in Europe. And over the years, I had the opportunity to go to the US, to Canada. And here I am today. My first experience in Asia was with Accor in Beijing, and it was back in 1995 at the former Novotel Beijing, my first real exposure to Asia. And to be fair, I mean, China was not the most easy country to start with. I've learned a lot. And looking back, I am very grateful to Accor for giving me the opportunity to come to such country and it's such market without any previous experience. So yeah, many years, a lot of stories, and looking back, absolutely no regrets.
Interesting. Did your parents encourage you or did they allow you to the freedom to sort of choose and you just chose that path? I'm always interested because I grew up in retail and my dad was always, no, don't continue the business. You get choose basically, which was interesting. Yeah.
Well, very much the same. And I guess my father and my mother were expecting me to take over, being the kid. And I have only one sister, and she's not in the industry. She's the smart one. So I think there were expectations, and at some point they understood that I would not come back for as I said, for a series of reasons. When you are working with the family, everything is always there, and you don't always have the opportunity to make the decisions you want or to give it the direction you think is the right one. And you don't have that objectivity when you judge people because they're family, and you cannot always make the right decisions for business because it's family, and you have to keep in mind that sometimes that person is your cousin or that person is your sister's husband, and you cannot make the right decisions, the objective ones. So I left and I said, it's time. I wanted to fly on my own.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of pride and to show my father that I can do it as well myself. Yep. Without you. You always have what I keep saying, the shadow of the big man behind you.
Yep.
And you're not yourself, but you are this guy's son or this guy's daughter.
Yes.
That always bothered me. So here I am.
There you go. On the story side, obviously you manage clusters of hotels in Dubai and Bangkok. Is there a specific, I suppose, coming out of the shadow, a trial by fire experience that sort of said, this is it, I've put my mark on hotels and I've claimed hotels for myself.
Yes. Well, nothing is never easy wherever you are. And people say, oh, this country is easier. No, this country is not easier. It's just different. The timing was a bit weird for me because I ended up after 14 years with Accor, I ended up in Dubai working for Wyndham, and it was in 2008, the beginning of the financial crisis. And if you remember, expatriates were leaving the UAE by thousands, leaving their cars at the airport. It was it was pure carnage. It was the beginning of my contract, and the owner said, you can stay, but we have to adjust your package and so on. Fine. And we had to let go a lot of people. And for me, it was really a challenge because I had just left Accor and I wanted to show that Wyndham gave me the opportunity, the owning company gave me the opportunity. And we had, especially with my sales team and my operation team, we had to find ways to produce business and to deliver and to show that, whatever happens, we can still make it. And there was a massive shift from international inbound to domestic demand and domestic market, local government, local companies. And I remember the ADR took a massive hit, occupancy took a hit during the first 3 months. But then we made it. We made it because I had the best team around me. And as you know, at the end of the day, nothing happens because of one person. It's
Yeah.
always a team effort. I had the right people. I'm still, can you imagine, 14 years down the line, I'm still in touch with these people. Some of them, especially sales and finance, probably among the best people I've seen in this industry. And it comes down to this, your level of commitment, the right decisions made by the right people,
Mm.
and the trust of the owning company, of course. And once you're in that spot, cost discipline and talent retention and guest experience fundamentals. And once you manage to secure those three, you're basically flying.
I like that. Nothing like a crisis to bring a team together with a
Exactly.
challenge, basically, right?
You see the real nature of people during crisis. Yeah.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. On that note, inspiration, having navigated massive shift, and having regional roles, who is a leader or mentor that inspired you? Yeah, has helped you shape your strategy, I suppose.
It's not one, it's many, but and I will leave my father aside because, and I'm not going to be very original here, but my father is and was always a beacon somewhere because they started from nothing and they created what they have created. But when I take a step back and I look at the industry. I remember one conference I did attend quite some time ago, and it was the former CEO of Coca-Cola, Coke. His name is Brian Dyson.
Okay.
And he had this speech about, and you might be familiar with it, the five balls. And he said that basically in life, we are constantly juggling with five balls, which are
Okay.
health, family, friends, spirit, and work.
Yep.
And he said those five balls, you daily you juggle with those five things, and the work ball is made of rubber, whereas the other ones, the family, friends, health, and spirit, are made of glass.
Interesting.
So if you drop one of the four main ones, they might not break, but they will be damaged and you
Mm.
can never fix it. But if you drop the work ball, it's made of rubber, so it will bounce back and bounce back and bounce back. And the conclusion of this thing was focus on what's important. And a job is important. I mean, I love my job. We all enjoy what we do. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's only that, a job, nothing more, nothing less. And the other ones, starting with health, are the ones driving what you do and who you are. And as you get older, you start to pay more attention to
Mm.
especially health, and you want to make sure you're always where you should be. And this thing, 20 years down the line, this thing still resonates very much with me.
Yeah.
a job is important, especially in this industry. It has to come from the heart,
Yep.
but also know what's important for you and for the people around you and focus on the real priorities.
I like that. I've never heard, I understand the concept,
Yeah,
the wheel of life, so to
yeah,
speak. A mentor of mine always gets us towards the end of the year to map out the wheel and see how round it is
yeah.
or otherwise. But the balls, I love that. And he's quite right. You know,
Mm.
the work is bounceable, but the others, you know, if you damage them, it's a bit hard to repair.
Uh,
Yeah, I love that. You've been in the industry through multiple crises now, obviously the global financial crisis, COVID. What's the single best piece of advice that you receive that keeps you grounded when, you know, managing such a diverse region as the Asia Pacific region?
I mean, and not specifically about Asia. I mean, as a general approach to life, focus only on what you can control.
Mm,
And, people say, everybody's complaining about stress, about pressure, about anxiety. But at the end of the day, the only stress you have is the one you put on yourself. Again, focus only on the things you can actually control. We are looking at the situation now in Middle East. This
mm,
will have a massive impact on the industry.
yep.
As a hotel operator, what can I do about it? Not much, to be
Mm,
honest. And I can only work reactively and make sure that my properties are ready for that, work
yep.
on the expenses, work on what can we do to limit the consequences of this thing. And we all hope it will be short-lived. But this thing could also drag for months. And as you know, we all have budgets in place. So what do we do in a very proactive, concrete way to work on this?
Mm,
And well, again, we can only work on what we can work on. So we need to have an objective view on this and try to find creative solutions to limit the impact. And I remember my ex-boss who said, be the person who can change without breaking. And he was referring to Asia Pacific. So be the person who can change without breaking and connect without pretending. And keep things simple. The hotel industry is about people. So
yep.
let's connect, leave the technology aside for a bit.
Yep.
Talk to people on a human level, try to connect not only with clients and customers, with owners, with the teams.
Yep.
Because at the end of the year, when we show the performance and we say, oh, we have achieved this, but we have achieved because of whom? Because of the teams in the hotels. They are the ones making us look good. And we tend to forget these people too often.
True, true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. That whole area of, you know, learning to focus on what you control. It's a hard lesson, I think, though. But if you can manage that, then I think stress and overall sanity
Mm.
improves basically. I learned that lesson, I wouldn't say perfectly, but COVID was that wake up call, you know,
Yes.
when
Uh,
our industry just, you know, shut down overnight. It's just realized, well, this I can't, you know, what can I do? And you know, you recreate yourself.
Agreed. And when you look, I mean, I still involve myself a fair bit when it comes to interviews with middle management. I spend a fair amount of time visiting properties, talking to the teams. And you can tell that, especially since COVID, the hotel industry is seen as unstable.
Mm,
And this is probably the main reason why today we have such a high turnover. And retaining people is the headache number one today. That's the reality, at least in
yep.
my region.
Yep. No.
And which brings you to, to so many other things when there's so many contradictions when we say that when it comes to service, what do people want? And they want something more personalized. But how do you do something more personal when you have so much technology coming in? Where is the human component? And again, leaving aside the super luxury segment, the 5-star plus, that 5% that will always be there, there will always be a demand. But for the other 95%, how do we make sure that that level of human connection is still there beyond the app and beyond all the technology we feed to people? And this is probably the biggest concern moving forward.
It is. It is. It is. One of my previous guests in the interview comes out tomorrow, Dominic Eggers from Wyndham.
Mhm.
He mentioned as a general manager of the property, he likes to make sure that he actually gets down to breakfast and
Mm.
communicates with guests. And his take is that he can do that. He can spend 20-25% of his
Mm.
time with guests because he's using sort of technology to get his work done more effectively. And I know all too often, unfortunately, general managers do get bogged down with the paperwork side of the business to the detriment of both the team. I've been into some hotels where the general manager has been there for a number of months, but nobody in housekeeping, nobody in engineering has actually met the
Mm.
person yet, which I
Mm.
think is a shame because,
Mm.
as you said, it's a team effort, you
It
know.
is.
So that's interesting. We're talking about trends across the Asia Pacific region. What emerging trend in guest experience is either making you excited or a little bit nervous across the BWH portfolio? And maybe it's the technology aspect or the staff retention issue that we just talked about, really. But
Well, I would say a bit of both, excited and worried. Excited
mm,
because I see, I mean, we are constantly meeting representatives from companies who present new products. Those products become increasingly technical. They go deeper into your profile and they need more and more information to be more efficient.
yep,
And again, I don't want to look old school, but I remember a time where a GM was actually spending 60, 70% of his time or her time talking to clients and the rest doing paperwork. Now,
yep,
today, GM is not a GM anymore. A GM is a director of finance, and he's talking to owners, he's talking to the brand to produce numbers. It's just about managing volume and delivering return.
mm,
And the hospitality industry is just becoming an industry, unfortunately. And again, leaving that 5% super luxury aside. So as a guest, when I see, and every time I travel on a personal basis, I try not to go to our properties. I go to see what the competition is doing. And we're all
cool.
doing the same thing. You come, please, sir, scan the QR code and please download this and please do that. Or the human part of it is not really there anymore. And this is the part I regret.
Yeah,
My only concern is that as we are moving forward, how much of that will remain? What will be the contact? How many percent of a human contact will remain? If I check in a hotel in 10 years in Bangkok, any hotel in the mid-scale or upscale segment, whatever, will I be talking to someone or will I just put my card in a machine, get my key and move to my room? I don't know. So technology is good because of all the reasons we know, and it allows you to plan your stay in a more organized way.
yeah,
If you have some preference, you want to discover the local culture, you can plan this, you can have whatever you want to eat, you can focus on wellness, you can focus on so many things, and this can be planned in advance. Again, when you do this, you provide a lot of data to those third parties, which allows them to become even more, technical in their approach. And so, yeah, I see
true.
a lot of contradictions. Everybody wants a more personalized service, and we put more and more technology in between.
Yep, yep.
So how do you deliver that? I don't know.
It's true. And it's not just hospitality, it's
No.
across the board, as you say.
Yeah.
And the amount of information that some of the Uber and Amazon now have on us, given our
Mm.
buying patterns, it's
Yes.
or what we watch
Yes.
on TV is quite amazing. It's quite amazing.
And even from a pure practical perspective, and I'm sure you've been experiencing this, and I don't want to name them, and you go to any big brand of coffee, you go to any place where you can buy coffee, whatever. Before you used to give your $5, you get your change back, and you move on. Now you have to bring your app, and they will tell you, okay, what is your promotion? So you have to go through all the QR codes you have. You show one. No, not this one. It's another one. And you spend 5 minutes ordering a simple coffee because you cannot find the stupid QR code instead of just handing over your $5 and move on.
Yep, yep.
This doesn't make sense. And you see this so much. in an increasing number of businesses, food, drinks, buying a ticket to go watch a movie.
It's a paradox, as you said. It's loyalty in their view. We
Mm,
want you to be loyal,
yeah.
but unfortunately, as you said, that's become a barrier to actually
Yes.
delivering
Yeah.
on a good product and good
Mm,
service. If it takes you 5 minutes to get a coffee, whereas
mm.
in the old days it would have been, now I'm sounding old, but the barista that you go to,
Yes.
you would walk in and they would literally know, great,
Yes.
you hand over your money, you don't have to communicate, nobody writes on the lid, Brendan, long black. The barista's pretty much got it
Yeah.
during that exchange. You give the money, he's like, here's your coffee.
Yeah.
um, I still think we want that as individuals because it's that form of recognition after you've been there a couple of times that the barista knows you and you feel welcome. But then again, as a big group in the coffee chain or be it any store that you go to, there's, are you a member of our program? It's like, no, and if I'm traveling to a foreign country, I don't necessarily want to join your program because I'm only here once. Interesting. Yeah. It's the McDonald's approach, would
And
you like
you're lucky.
fries with
Yeah.
that type thing, which McDonald's now have, realized many years ago, and they don't ask it either, but they get technology to upsell us, I suppose, don't they?
And you're lucky if they don't ask you to step out of the line because someone will notice that, oh, sir, you don't have the latest version of the app. So please step out, download, and come back again. Oh, wait, I just want a coffee, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Ah,
I love it. My next question was literally going to be regarding, I suppose, your time as a GM across leading hotels. Was there a technology aha moment? Because, we've been in the industry long enough that we went from sort of manual to technology.
um,
Was there a technology that you thought, yes, this is truly made a difference?
yeah, a few, yes. I mean, simple things like a passport reader that
Mm,
clearly makes our lives easier.
yep.
But then they will tell you, okay, I can give you a specific example. The app you have to download to open the door with your phone.
Yes.
This one, I've seen it, and I have experienced myself so many times. I download and I trust by default the thing will work. So you go to the top floor, you walk to the very far end of the corridor,
Yep.
and then it doesn't work. And so what do you do? Well, you walk back and you start to get a bit tense. And please, can I have give me a key card? I acknowledge, I appreciate your intention, but just give me a key card, please. And taking a step back and looking at the big picture, I would say hotel technology does not empower teams by being advanced. I think it empowers the teams by removing the friction
Yep.
in front of the guest. And that's just about it.
Yep.
But is it really, again, menus? Let's talk about menus. Do I want to flip through a menu or do I want to see the actual pictures of what I'm going to order on an iPad? Of course, I want to see the pictures. But then
Mm,
it will ask me to enter my name or my email. And I don't want to receive their marketing garbage, right? I just want to order a meal.
yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
we need to find the middle line. What
The
is
balance. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
mm.
And it goes back to that. Everybody wants your email address these days
Oh,
but we know that as soon as we give it to them
mm.
tomorrow and every day until we unsubscribe, we're going to
Yeah.
get an email from them with some offer that
Yes.
we don't really need,
Mm.
unfortunately. If we look 10 years out, Oliver, how do you think the global guests will interact with BWH properties and what can we do now to start preparing for that?
Well, again, as discussed earlier, I think technology will I was about to say invade, but invade as a meaning I don't want to convey here. But the technology will become more and more, yes, invasive,
Mm,
either we want it or not. And this is not only for BWH, I think it's for every single operator out there. For us, the priority will always be the guest, the experience, the service, not only from the check-in, but way before that, from the moment people book. And this is why we encourage our customers to book on our website because we can really take care of it, support from the booking moment, see
mm,
what they need, what are the preferences, Do they have any special request? And we can take care of it from the booking moment, way after the checkout, when they go home and they start posting comments, we can still follow up. Beyond the service itself, I think there's a clear vision of focusing on the local communities around us.
Yes.
Each property has its own stories because of its location, because of the culture, because of the team. Sustainability is and will remain a very strong topic for us, respecting nature, environment, the local community, our own people, and the guests through all the initiatives we have ongoing at the hotel, at the property level. So what's the conclusion? 10 years from now, I hope that when I check in, I will still be talking to someone.
Yep.
That's wish number one. And wish number two, I think that it's funny now, I see my kids now, they often, when they go on trip with their friends, they often book unbranded properties. We still have a strong DNA, a strong culture, an actual identity, where they know they will probably meet and receive a different type of service, as opposed to one of the top 10 companies where we know exactly what the room will look like. We know if I close my eyes, I know the TV will be here, and everything is blended. It's the universal approach to the hospitality, whereas a smaller property, unbranded, will retain that flavor, that spirit,
Yep.
and will
Spirit. I
make
love that one. Yep.
come and come back probably.
Yep. I love that the spirit of the local community.
Yes.
As you
Yeah.
said, definitely. Just as we get ready to wrap up, for young professionals starting their career, what is your non-negotiable skill that you think they're going to need to allow them to, have a 30-year plus career in our business?
Well, again, if it's a young graduate coming from Lausanne, from Cornell, from wherever in Europe or in the US, do not come in, especially in Asia, where we know everything is about relationships and connections.
Mm.
Do not come here and assume that because you come from one of the top 3 universities, you are the beacon out there. Be humble, know when to shut up, listen and learn, be flexible, because we are here for a reason, and we can bring something, we can bring some knowledge, ways to do things, but at the same time acknowledge and they know what to do. I mean, the Asia Pacific, Asia, when it comes to industry, probably have the best properties in the world.
Mm.
They don't really need us to tell them how to do it. They know how to do it. Just go to and I don't want to mention them, but I will mention them anyway. Go to the peninsula in Hong Kong
Yep.
and understand what service means. So be who you are, but be flexible in your approach, learn, and this mix of European knowledge and Asian experience will allow you and allow them to be a best version of themselves as you move through time. And work in as many countries as you can, because each country in Asia is obviously different.
Yep.
And you don't work in Japan like you work in Singapore or in China and Thailand. Move around, not too much because you will be seen as unstable, but move around,
Yep.
learn, get as much as you can, and make sure that you have the right people around you and focus on people and on clients. And that's about it.
Yep. Yeah. Don't forget it's a people business first and foremost.
Yeah.
I like that. And getting as much experience and
Yeah.
obviously international experience. If you're from Europe, work in Asia and experience that. I love that.
Yeah.
Oliver, thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Been a pleasure, Brandon. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.